Hello and thank you for watching my video. Today we're going to be talking about Elite Specialisations and the impact it's going to have on the player base. So first of all, talk about Elite Specialisations. Elite Specialisations are a new way to change your character once you get to level 80. And what it does, it allows you access to new skills and a new weapon that you wouldn't actually otherwise get on your character. I'm going to cover actually each individual Elite Specialisation per profession a little bit later on other videos, but today we're just talking about the generics of Elite Specialisations. So what is an Elite Specialisation? Well, let's have a look here on my Mesmer. Now what you have to do, first of all, how do you actually get an Elite Specialisation? Well, at level 80 you'll get access to Elite Specialisations in the same way you actually do by building up your, creating your build. And it goes into the training section, and the way I imagine it working, because obviously this is a pre-Heart of Thorns video, is that, for example, the skills that you would get, which would be the utilities, we'll go into a section here, probably named Chronomancer, for example, for the Mesmer, Reaper for the Necromancer, and so on. And it would have your, for example, on the Mesmer, we have wells. We're getting 4 wells, a elite skill and a heal. They will probably be in this section here, and you will have to spend a certain amount of hero points. That's right, you are going to need hero points. So for those of you who haven't actually got many hero points, go out there, get all those skill points right now. You will need them. So, okay, say we have got enough hero points, which might be enough for 67, it might be more. Bear in mind also a unique armor skin and weapon skin are also probably like to be included, may or may not, I'm not too sure on that. So we say we've unlocked all of our skills and all of our traits as well that we unlocked. Well, okay, let's go to the build section. And you can see here at the bottom, you've got this outline border, this golden section. This is the case for every profession, and this is where the Elite Specialisation will go. And obviously, as time progresses and we get more Elite Specs come in, we'll be able to choose which Elite Spec. So, okay, right now I have Inspiration. I will then change it. There'll probably be a Chronomancer tab here, and I'll click on that, and then I'll get access to the Chronomancer. But that isn't the end of it, because now, obviously with the Chronomancer, people that play, for example, in PvP, they want to know who they're fighting against. It's actually going to have their own symbol for Chronomancer, for Reaper, etc. So we know who we're fighting against and the type of build that we can expect. However, the Elite Spec only accounts for 1/3 of your build. The other 2/3 are still specializations, and this determines, obviously what type of build that you're going to run. For example, the Reaper is primarily a damage dealer, but it can also be a strong condition damage dealer as well. So you've got a few different aspects you might want to take. The Chronomancer, could it be still be the particular spike build in PvP, or could it be this new support type build and actually allows allies to regen, give it alacrity to reduce cooldowns and other things. So the Elite Specializations are not only going to change the way that your profession plays, but it's also going to change dependent on what other specializations you take in that build setup. So a couple of little interesting things to be aware of. So for Elite Specs, what I would say is make sure, one, that you have enough hero points. I would say 65 would be a good number to make sure that you have. And bear in mind, these aren't gained through like spirit shards. You actually have to go out in the world, defeat all the skill challenges. Secondly, be aware of what you're actually going to take with that Elite Spec. You're going to have a couple of other specializations. Just make sure you've looked at what you'd like to take with you. But overall, specializations, and particularly the new elites that are going to come in, we're not going to get just one, in the rest of the game's history. We are going to get more down the line. So it's worth making sure that you always, even throughout Heart of Thorns, go for those skill points, get those communes, because you will need them. Maybe not now, but later down the line, you probably will need for more Elite Specs. So that's what is likely to happen, and this has just been a brief overview of what it actually means for your, for yourself as a game player in Guild Wars 2. It will mean that you are going to encounter a lot of different players playing different builds. At the moment there are probably around 2 to 3 builds per profession that really work well. This is going to jump up dramatically because, say for example, there are 2 builds, say, per profession. That's 16 builds that you can have to worry about. Well, now with Elite Specs, not only are they bringing in a new profession, the Revenant, but they're bringing in Elite Specialisations, and each Elite Specialisation will probably have 2 different builds. So you're going to get over 30 different build types that you're going to have to learn to make sure you know how to counter them, what's expected of them. The Elite Specs are going to bring in a lot of interesting gameplay. It's going to mean players are going to have to concentrate more and actually get a feel for all the different Elite Specs, because you will need to know them, especially if you're PvPing. You're going to have a lot of interesting builds in World versus World as well. Going around in a Zerg, you're going to have so much support now. It's going to be interesting to see. So, I hope this has been useful. Please feel free to ask me any questions or leave any comments in the section below, and I'll see you on the next video.